Uh, as you know, on Tuesdays we have Meet the Steelheads. Always loving having the boys on. And this morning we got Ty Collins. Ty, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing today?
Well, we're just sort of watching as the season sort of unfolds, and I know that you would have wanted probably a better last three games than you did. It's look, the one thing that we've seen, and we've seen it beforehand, you usually outshoot the teams. Like you usually outshoot almost every single team you play, and occasionally a goalie stands in their head. And I mean, that is the thing about being one of the top teams in any league, is you're kind of a target a little bit. Like you're just not, no one's surprised by what the Steelheads do.
Yeah, no, everyone knows what to expect when a top team comes into their rink and matches up against them, right? We always come hard every game, and we're always putting pucks on net. So I think teams kind of expect that and do a lot of just research and know what we're going to do before we come in. So I think teams are always prepared to play us.
Well, when you look at those games, it starts off now. Look, Hamilton, I mean, these are basically playoff games, right? I mean, it must feel that way if there's an intensity to it. How do you break down that game? I mean, you only lose 2-1, but still, I mean, these are the kinds of teams, playoffs aren't that far away. I mean, there's probably going to be a series where you play these guys.
Yeah, no, exactly. Every game we played against Hamilton so far has been pretty much playoff game. It's been one or two goal games, and you saw how close that one was last week. There, 1-1 the whole game, and then it was unfortunate they scored that shorthanded goal at the end of the game. But I think everyone was pretty proud of how we played that game. We played just the way we like to play, and I think the coaches were happy with how we played. But but that was unfortunate to let that one in with a minute left.
Now, so what's the key to playing Hamilton? Like when you know you're playing Hamilton, what are the things that you need to do? As I said, because you're probably going to see these guys, but what is the thing you believe you need to do to beat them?
I think it's just kind of stick to our game and stick to our game plan. They're pretty physical, and I think they kind of try to like intimidate other teams. So I think if we just don't buy into that and just play our way and not be intimidated by them, then I think we'll be good. And that's kind of what we did last game, But I think 2 games ago we started off, it seemed like we were almost like kind of scared to play them or scared to go up against them, and they just smoked us first period. And then after, we started just to play our game and go back to how we like to play and not be intimidated by them, and came right back. So I think it's just sticking to that.
Now you have a little bit of fun against Oshawa. Got it all out on the Jets there. Talk about that game a little bit. 8-4 was the final, and you kind of were flying that day.
Yeah, they're playing good. I haven't played the last 2 games, so I wasn't part of those games. But yeah, the boys were playing good there. You just saw all the offense that they put up, and yeah, that was a really good game for them.
Well, so as you get closer to the things you want to do, as I said, once you get through April, which is February, I always find it to be a month that that's the one where you got to concentrate the most, because the playoffs aren't around the corner, but they kind of are. It's a little bit of a no man's land. But once you get into March, you can kind of feel a little bit, can't you? I mean, things are going to tighten up a little bit, and playoffs are really not that far away.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think once you get over like kind of the dog days of the season, those are the toughest days, right? Because you're not really close to playoffs. You're just kind of in the middle, and you're just like, so you kind of got to dial into most of those days. But then, yeah, once March hits, you can start to feel it starting to pick up, and all the games get closer. Everyone starts to dial in a bit more. So yeah, it's definitely exciting.
Now, it's also exciting that the fact that people are now allowed to come and see you play, and that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, that's nice. I think in Niagara they had a pretty good crowd. I think they had over like 3,000 or whatever. And yeah, it's definitely a lot better playing in front of people than empty buildings.
Now, is your family still in Newmarket, like mostly?
Yeah.
So do they get a chance to come down and see you play that often? Because it's really not that far from Newmarket.
Yeah, my brother plays too, so one of them usually tries to come to each of our games, and even away games they usually try to come to. But yeah, if my brother's not playing, then they're both there. Then if my brother is playing, one of them will come to mine and one will go to their game.
Is there a favorite son? Can you say that publicly? Like, is there one?
Yeah,
are you more loved? Yeah, it is you.
I think has to be.
Well, conversation with Ty Collins here on Newstalk Sauga 960 Raw. Mike Richards meeting the Steelheads. As we know, all great people are born in Newmarket. it's just, I mean, I can go down the list, but the great ones, all from Newmarket. But it's interesting, as I said, you grow up in certain areas in Newmarket, being a Stouffville boy. Newmarket's one of my favorite places, aside from the 2 years in a row I had to go to summer school at Huron Heights. That wasn't good. But and sometimes people don't talk about this. The schooling for you guys, where you have like your own internal person that keeps up with the grades and so on. When you start getting to this time of season, I mean, I'd have to think it's got to be a little tough to balance schoolwork and do this.
Yeah, I haven't been in school for a couple of years, so
Yeah.
it's been kind of nice. But yeah, when I was in high school, it was definitely pretty tough to balance all the schoolwork and hockey at the same time. But at the same time, the teachers are usually pretty good with kind of adjusting your schedule. And if we have a game on the test day or whatever, usually they could kind of move it. And yeah, so it's usually pretty good.
Yeah, because I forgot you're 35. How old are you?
19.
Yeah, but see, that's the one thing about this team is many, and they always talk about how young you guys are, but then there's you veterans on there. There is a real veteran presence on this team too.
Yeah, I think we got a good mix. Like, I think we're still like one of the oldest teams in the league, but at the same time, we have a good group of 04s and 05s that are young guys. But yeah, we do have a good veteran presence. We got lots of 02s, good 01s, good 03s. So yeah, we're an old team, but at the same time, we have a good future.
Well, I think the weirdness still of the hockey that was lost in that time. I think at the beginning of the year certainly showed and I'm talking all sports. I mean, I don't care if you're talking about the NFL or NHL, anything. Just it was not the same for you guys. You actually missed a season, so it's tough. Do you find any of that like a hangover of that now, or is that in the rearview mirror and it really isn't part of what's going on right now?
Yeah, I've tried to just kind of put it behind me. Those were tough times for everyone, especially you weren't playing, right? So yeah, some guys probably lost a bit of development there, but yeah, you just got to put it behind you and just work harder now, right, to make up for it.
And what was your life during that time? Like, where were you and what did you do during the pandemic?
I was just at home. I didn't really do much. Like, I thought about going to play overseas, but at the same time, we all thought the OHL was going to start up, and new dates kept popping up or whatever. So I just kind of stayed at home, and then I had a home gym, and then when things were open, I'd go to the gym and go to the rink and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty tough. You couldn't really do much.
Now, was your brother home too at the same time?
Yeah, he was.
So there you all were in the house in Newmarket, all under one roof. How did that go? Or did dad start drinking extra? Like, what happened there?
Yeah, probably. I think he did. Yeah, there's probably a couple battles. I don't really remember fighting too much, but yeah, I think we were sick of each other at some point.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's really tough. And as I said, it's the most common theme we have in talking to you and your teammates and your coaches is the closeness of the team. And I think, it really counts, and it will show. As much as people think, well, why does it matter? They like being together all the time. They're the young guys that hang out. Well, that's not true of every team. Every team doesn't necessarily just want to hang out with, whether you're playing or not. It seems like this team would prefer to be together than not.
Yeah, no, for sure. We're a really close group. I think it's probably one of the closest teams I've ever been a part of. And yeah, everyone likes hanging out. Everyone likes going to do things after practice or on the days off or whatever. And I think it helps. It ends up showing on the ice of how close we are, because we all stick up for each other. We all play together.
But it seems like that all falls apart once you pick up ping pong paddles. I don't know what's going on there. What is that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's a pretty good battle in there every day. I think that's what we were saying the other day. Everyone's friends until we go on the ping pong table, and then the real signs come out, and we start chirping each other and getting mad at each other. But that's usually the only time that side comes out.
See, I think before the game starts that you bring your own table to whatever rink you're at. Have you guys go at it right in front of their dressing room before the game starts, because someone's going to look out there and go, these guys are psychos. They're playing ping pong in front of us, and they're going to kill each other. They're going to kill.
I know. Yeah, we should do that. Maybe that would cancel any slow starts from us, because we will already be warmed up and fired up for the game.
especially Hamilton. Although I don't know how you guys can be intimidated with, the average size of your defenseman being about 7'4". I don't know how
Yeah,
intimidating your team.
yeah. I don't think we're intimidated. I think it's just kind of in our heads that it's one of the top teams or whatever, and we didn't really like first half of the year. We were the top team, right? So I think it's just kind of like that.
Well, having Charlie on the show last week, it just appeared that I think he wants to fight everybody. At least it sort of came across that way, that he doesn't mind getting into fights.
Yeah, it's hilarious going. I'm sometimes on the ice with them, and I just hear him asking guys if they want to fight, and I just start laughing. It's pretty funny.
So he does the old, "Do you want to go?" Is that how it works?
Yeah, and he talks really fast, so it's kind of hard to understand sometimes.
Right.
So I just hear it on the ice, and I don't know if the other guy knows what he's saying or not. But
He killed it last week. He was so good, and people said, "Where's he from?" I go, "What do you mean? Is he from Newfoundland?" No, he's not from Newfoundland. Well, what accent is that? It's Charlie's own language. It's how he talks. I mean, it was, and look, you just need characters like that, right? I mean, you really, and that's kind of what makes a team is the fun and just the craziness of it. And I really, we're crossing our fingers. We're really hoping for a nice run here. And what I really hope for too, Ty, is that people realize, and I know I sound like a broken record, but I really hope people get to the Paramount and see what you guys do, because you're really proud of the product you put on the ice.
yeah, no, I think that'd be awesome if people realize that, and we start to get some good crowds over playoffs, because it's exciting hockey to watch, and it's good hockey, and we're all proud of what we're doing, and we got a lot to accomplish. So yeah.
So you'll be back on the ice. You're back on the ice now?
Yeah, I think I don't know if I'm skating today at practice or not, but tomorrow at the latest. So I should be good to go for this weekend.
And it's tough on this team. It's tough to sit out.
Yeah, no, it sucks. And like watching that game the other night, it's hard to watch. And even against Oshawa, when you see all the boys having fun and winning like that, you want to be a part of that. And yeah, so it's hard sitting out right now, but me and I got Charlie in the stands with me, so that's always a good time.
you can wrestle with the natives and fight the person who's delivering the pop. Yeah, sure. Why not? Ty, thanks so much for joining us here this morning. Always appreciate it. Love when you guys join us. We're certainly behind you. Looking forward to finishing the season in a great manner, and those playoffs just around the corner.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. We're looking forward to it.
That is Ty Collins joining us here this morning on Meet the Steelheads. As I said, the last 3 games were a tough game in Hamilton. Then they kind of unload on Oshawa and loose Niagara, but they were all over Niagara. And I mean, on most of those games, if you do look at the stats, there's very few games where Mississauga does not outshoot the competition. And sometimes you play these teams, and next thing you know, you're playing Barrie and a guy stands on his head. Like it's just kind of how it is. But that's the way it is when you are basically the team, and they have been for most of the season. I don't know why people were surprised, but they're certainly not. There's an expectation, and a high one, that they have in Mississauga. Looking at the standings here this morning, the Bulldogs with 72 points. They have played 49 games, and again, here's the other thing about COVID and the weird thing: the number of games that teams played, and it's not just the OHL. It's the NHL had some weirdness too. But Hamilton's played only 49 games, have 72 points. Mississauga, 54 games, they've got 70 points. So there's some games in hand. North Bay at 68 and Kingston at 63, and that's kind of after the top 4. That's kind of where the cutoff is, and then it's Barrie all the way on down. And of course, seeing some of the teams, and this is the secular nature of junior hockey. The Pete's on the bottom end of it now. Sudbury, and look, there are years where you see those teams where Ottawa, it's got a bunch of pros that it's going to have on it. Peterborough and Sudbury, we've seen it. But this is that nature, that cycle of junior hockey where you try to get, obviously, your draft picks to work, and the young guys become the senior guys. And right now, so you have, and this is what I like about Mississauga, there's enough young guys. This cycle is going to be, they're going to be in the top part of this for a while. What do you think, Brendan? When I take a look at this team, this isn't like, oh, we're all in this year. These are the guys we got. What we're going to lose. Now we're going to be in trouble next year. I think they've got, with this core group of players that'll be with them, they're going to have a bunch of years here where I think they've really got can do some damage.
I mean, you mentioned it. They have a lot of rookies on the team. They have a lot of veterans, so those veterans would kind of move on. But because their rookie presence is so big, you'd have to think that there's they're going to be good for a long time. Now, guys like Del Belbaluz and Owen Beck will be high draft picks this year in the NHL, possibly first, maybe second round, both of those guys. So they may be moving on. Who knows? Del Belbaluz is 2003, so he is in his first draft year, but because he has a late birthday, his draft year is a little bit later, so he may move on. But yeah, there's so many young guys and so many young skilled guys that they should be good for a long time.
Yeah, good news. Good to hear.